Sonic with Avicii, hey brother, it's Vanessa, by kissing Andrew the intern. Update on the Canucks game on Sonic.
My name is Vanessa, and I'm a radio personality. I went to school to be a teacher, and I wanted to teach elementary. But once I got to graduating with my education degree, I kind of felt I wasn't ready to fully dive into the work world and I guess just work for the rest of my life. Like I kind of thought, oh, now do I have to be a teacher for the rest of my life? When you think about a career, you want to be able to find something that you really love to do. One of my friends who I went through the education program with told me, you know what, I'm not applying to be a teacher right away. And she said that she was going back to school just to do more education. So then I thought, oh, why can't I go back to school, right? If I don't feel ready to work as a teacher and find a solid job right away. I ended up taking a part-time intro to radio course at BCIT. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it and I'm gonna apply for the full-time 2-year program and see where that takes me. I remember when I was younger, one of my elementary school friends and I would pretend we were on a news station and we would make up stories about like car accidents or just random things that were happening in the neighborhood, and we would read them out like we were on the news and then we would record them on cassette tapes. I mean, it was like play radio, right? But I don't know if I ever really thought when I was younger I want to be on the radio when I grow up.
If you can't watch the Oscars tomorrow, make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Sonic Nation. You can follow along using the hashtag Sonic Awards. I've got new music from Tiesto right after Eminem and Rihanna. Sonic.
I think one thing that I always kept in mind about finding an on-air job especially was knowing that I had to move away from home and move out of Vancouver, which is a pretty big city and big market in radio. And I mean, our teachers always told us at BCAT that if we really, really wanted an on-air job, and if we wanted to end up back in Vancouver or back in a bigger market at least, like not in a smaller town, then moving away would look really good on a resume, and it would also be a lot of experience. So right after BCIT, this job came along. It was a part-time job up in Prince George. That was my first real radio job, my first on-air job. After about 4 or 5 months working there, I got incredibly homesick. Like I really missed like my own room, and like I missed my friends and my family, and just being in Vancouver and the weather, because Prince George weather is a lot colder and drier, and they get a lot more snow than we do in the wintertime. I worked with people who were from Vancouver too, so we would connect over that, and we had similar interests and stuff. So yeah, that was something that helped me out there. I don't think I had any like preliminary thoughts about what radio was, or because I really, even before applying to the program, I didn't have any volunteer experience in radio or whatever. Like I knew some of my classmates volunteered and worked at radio stations, and I was like, I was a teacher, so I have like zero experience in radio. I remember my first couple of weekend shifts, like my first 2 weekend shifts in October. I was just super nervous, and I was like super sweaty, and it was just like a whirlwind.
Katy Perry, Juicy J, Dark Horse on Sonic. Hey, it's Vanessa. The 94 Canucks are taking on the Ottawa Senators tomorrow for the Heritage Classic. Martin Garrix's Animals coming up for you before 4. This is Headley. Anything on Sonic.
During my almost 1 year in Prince George, I was applying for a lot of different jobs everywhere. And there was actually one job posting in Victoria. So I had a couple of interviews with the program director of that station. So when I thought it was maybe like 95% sure that I was going to get the job in Victoria, I gave my 2 weeks notice to my boss, and I packed up everything. On the way home from Prince George, I got a call to tell me that I didn't get the job. So I was moving home with no job. And when I got home, it was actually a nice break for me. I mean, I was worried about the future and where I would be working next, but I was determined to not let that get me down. So I sent out applications to stations that I felt like I thought I would fit in with the community. And I happened to email a different station in Victoria. There was a fill-in announcer position available on the sister station. I applied for it and I got it. When I moved to Victoria, I knew that I wasn't going to be there forever. Again, I knew it was going to be temporary, just because that was a part-time job. And my goal was really to find something full-time. I just wanted anything full-time. So I was applying again for a bunch of jobs. I kind of thought like my timeline would be like approximately, like I didn't really know. But I was kind of like, okay, I think I'm probably going to be moving around for at least the next 3, 4, maybe 5 years before I get back to Vancouver. My old boss, he got in contact with me and said, the boss of Sonic says there's this job opening and he's wondering if you want to talk about this job. And that was a full-time job. And I was like, yeah, for sure. I want to talk to him about it. So we had a couple of phone conversations and he said, send in your application. So I did that. And then I think like a week later, he like offered the job to me. And the first thing I did was cry, but not on the phone with him. But, it's just, I felt like my only being in radio for less than 2 years and being on air for less than 2 years, it was such an up and down journey, and like getting my hopes up with maybe getting a job in Victoria and then not. I felt like I had been turned down so many times with applications that I'd sent out. Yeah, I just feel like I lucked out, and I was just so fortunate to know people with connections.
Mia Martina with Dev, Don Sonic Nation. It's Russell James. Vanessa's hanging out too. Hey, anything else you want, you can tweet us at the Sonic Nation on Twitter. Might even play this one again later too. Chainsmokers, Selfie. Song was written for Vanessa. It's on Sonic.
I think for me the biggest thing has always been just to do what makes you happy. If it's a full-time job and it's something that I'm doing 5 days a week, I think it's something that I want to love to do. Like, I don't think it's something that I want just to pay the bills or just to make money so I can do those hobbies or extracurricular things that make me happy. Like, I want my job to make me happy. Yeah, I want to get up every day and be super excited to come to work and see the people I work with. And yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just to do what makes you happy.